Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. As always, thank you for spending some time with us. We do have a Fox News alert, new reporting that there could be a major uptick in attacks on Iran in the next 24 hours. And Secretary Marco Rubio warning that the hardest hits are yet to come. Fox News Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin is standing by with all the latest. Jennifer.
Good evening, Laura. U.S. Central Command says it has sunk all 11 of the Iranian Navy's ships since the operation began, achieving one of the president's objectives for this operation, to destroy Iran's Navy so it can no longer threaten shipping lanes, and also releasing this video of one of the U.S. military's airstrikes on an Iranian Navy vessel in the Gulf of Oman. Overnight, B-1 bombers from Ellsworth Air Base in South Dakota flew round trip for 34 hours with a 75,000-pound payload, which it dropped on Iranian hardened missile sites. They were fueled by the same tanker air bridge used by the 4 B-2 bombers that flew 37 hours round trip from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri with dozens of 2,000-pound bombs. General Dan Kane told a Pentagon briefing today more U.S. forces are flowing into the region, and the U.S. and Israel have now taken out all of Iran's Russian and Chinese air defenses.
The combined impact of these strikes, swift, precise, and overwhelming, has resulted in the establishment of local air superiority. This air superiority will not only enhance the protection of our forces, but also allow them to continue the work over Iran.
Secretary Hegseth would not rule out having U.S. troops on the ground in Iran. He was asked if he is concerned about it spiraling into a longer war. 3 American F-15 Strike Eagle fighter jets were shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses in a friendly fire incident. All 6 American pilots evacuated safely. The death toll from that Iranian missile or drone that struck a U.S. Tactical Operations Center, Laura, is now 6 after they found 2 American service members buried under the rubble. Laura.
Jennifer, thank you very much. We've already won. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, let's analyze this Iran situation in a logical way. So far, this operation has been a tremendous success. Now, in the first hours of these joint strikes, clear that what we had been told for years prior that was next to impossible had happened. They killed the Ayatollah and most of his top leadership with precise military strikes. Now, the regime had sponsored terrorism against the United States and our allies for more than 4 decades. And they refused to give up their nuclear program even after we bombed it last summer. We've gotten support from key allies. Now, Mark Carney may hate Trump, but he knows an ongoing threat has been eliminated. And the UK is now letting us use their bases to strike missile sites in Iran. And the EU sees a more stable Middle East.
What I see in Europe, I spoke with all the key European leaders over the weekend, is widespread support for what the president is doing, and also making sure that when it comes to logistics, access, defending key US interests in Europe and in the region, the Europeans are really stepping up.
Of course, hesitant countries are waiting to see what comes next. They're all going to pretend that they were for this when it's politically safe to do so. But only a few days into military strikes, none of the major objections to this action withstand serious scrutiny. First, the concern that he's gotten us into another Middle East quagmire. Now, Secretary of War Hegseth made clear this morning that is not happening.
To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both. Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. This is the opposite. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes.
The U.S. military will not stay in this war a moment longer than is necessary to achieve those objectives. Now, of course, Donald Trump isn't going to give anyone a date certain for a pullback. That would be moronic. He's going to keep everyone guessing, as he did today.
Whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks. but we have capability to go far longer than that.
Well, that's a message to the new regime. Don't think about playing it cute and drawing us in further here, because you will take the same dirt nap as your friends did last Saturday. Now, that's smart strategy, but there's zero indication that Donald Trump intends to spend several months, let alone a few years, in Iran. That would be economically and politically calamitous for the GOP, which, of course, is what doomsdayer Democrats are hoping for.
He is busy getting us involved in quagmires overseas that already are becoming deadly to American soldiers. This is a disaster.
The American people want us to focus on making their life better, making their life more affordable, not getting involved in another endless war in the Middle East that is going to end in failure.
The fact is, for the writers at The Atlantic, the hosts on MS Now, the foreign policy folks at the New York Times, it must be galling and humiliating that Trump's foreign policy is so much more successful than anything they could have imagined over the past 30 years. Obama and Biden's approaches were abysmal failures, as was the Iran nuclear deal. Then are the worries about the effect the war will have on the U.S. economy, one that, given the trillions spent in Iraq and Afghanistan, no one should take lightly. But on further inspection, I think these concerns are also somewhat overblown. It's simply inconceivable that a president who a week ago was preparing to deliver his tour de force State of the Union speech, touting his record on progress on the economy and the border, would risk all of that on a protracted conflict. The president and his team believe that the economy is going to be strong this year, and I believe they will do everything in their power to make that happen. On the contrary, I think Donald Trump undoubtedly believes that with Iran's military destroyed, our economy will only get stronger, while China's may actually be a little bit squeezed. And as for that argument that Trump is abandoning his base, this is made by some on the right, but by many more on the left. As for the latter, they despise MAGA, so keep that in mind when you listen to them rant on a few days into the conflict.
The president has started a war of choice.
I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should.
Make no mistake about it. This is a war of choice, not necessity.
Trump has given us no indication that he is going to betray his supporters by asking them to make unnecessary sacrifices. And of course, the ultimate sacrifice has already been paid, though, by 6 U.S. service members who, as Jennifer Griffin just recounted, have been killed in this conflict. And their deaths must not be in vain. This President Trump knows. He knows it well. He campaigned against pointless wars, and he will not order our troops into battle for pointless campaigns. At some point in the very near future, President Trump and senior military officials will be able to go to the nation and declare that our objectives in the region have been met. The goals of this effort have been already largely met today, contrary to what the globalists are demanding.
The president saying that Venezuela is the template. If Venezuela is the template, that means that Donald Trump would be willing to leave a theological supreme leader in place if, in fact, we got what we wanted out of this. And how does that get freedom for the Iranian people?
Well, after we have eliminated the Iranian threat, it will be up to the Iranian people to decide their own future. Now, of course, we should encourage them to be brave and decide wisely, but the United States of America cannot force the outcome. This was never a hopeless choice between either doing nothing and allowing this problem to fester or turning Iran into Pennsylvania. That's fatuous framing by people who are still waiting for democracy in Iraq and Afghanistan. A U.S. victory in Iran that can neither threaten the region or military bases or reconstitute their nuclear program, if all of that is achieved, that will be a victory.
They're chanting something different in Iran.
It's not death to America after they killed the leader. The Americans and the Israelis did it. It's not death to Israel and death to America. It's thank you. It's a new day dawning. It's the Iranian people that have been telling me over and over and over again, we want this.
It's not just Iran. It's written in the skies of L.A. and on the ground. Those don't look like Mexican flags. While most Iranians are jubilant, the Washington Post's lighting a candle for the Ayatollah. Quote, with his bushy white beard and easy smile, Ayatollah Khomeini cut a more avuncular figure in public than his perpetually scowling but much more revered mentor. And he was known to be fond of Persian poetry and classic Western novels, especially Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. Is this the same guy that just slaughtered 30,000 civilians? And guess who's back? Jane Fonda. And she just ID'd a war criminal.
This is a desperate, immoral act in the hopes that he can score a victory and be declared war president. And this is a sad, unhinged man. He is at war on many fronts. He is at war against democracy. Let regime change start at home.
Democrats spent decades calling the Ayatollah a fanatical dictator, so dangerous he could never get a nuclear weapon. They tried everything: treaties, bribes, sanctions, inspections. Nothing worked. Iran kept digging deeper and deeper tunnels to enrich. They financed terrorism, killed Americans from Beirut to Baghdad, took hostages, shut down shipping, tried to assassinate the commander-in-chief. Democrats all agreed the #1 state sponsor of terrorism was a rogue state, hell-bent on destroying America. But the minute Trump took action, they say Iran's a pussycat.
It was a brutal dictator. This is a murderous regime. But at the same time, it posed no imminent threat of attack to the United States.
He didn't describe the existential threat of the moment, the immediacy of the crisis at hand. There wasn't one. He manufactured it.
Obama and Biden sent billions to the mullahs, and all they did was beef up their ballistic missiles, nuke sites, and terror proxies. President Trump didn't want to wait for Iran to build missiles that could hit New York, or a nuke in a bunker so deep we couldn't see it. He believed this was the last window of opportunity to destroy the Iranian regime so they couldn't blackmail the global economy with a nuclear weapon. They were at a very weak point, so he took a shot. Trump's already laid it all out, but Democrats aren't listening.
As I see this, hey, there's no real plan here. I think the president owes the American people an answer on what is the strategy here.
Why would Trump brief the guy who told troops to revolt? Why show war plans to Congress? So what, Omar can leak it? Obama didn't get permission for Libya, Iraq, Syria. Biden didn't either. Why is Trump different?
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should.
Kamala is decrying the Iran war from a street corner. Not a good look. We just wiped out the 49 most dangerous men in the Middle East in one shot. And we're blowing up missiles aimed at American bases, American ships, American allies. What's Kamala's plan for Iran? Keep paying them off so they can nuke up behind our back? Trump's arguing this. He's not starting a war, he's ending one. A war the Islamic Republic has waged on the United States for 47 years. If he can pull this off, Trump will be the only American president loved by Jews and Muslims.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.